One of the big things that we keep in mind when we're making decisions about any technology, but specifically around AI, is technology, AI can't replace what our team is doing. It can only supplement. The goal of any tool that we utilize is how can this help free up time to meet one-on-one with members or do group trainings. We want to free up our time so that we can actually build that connection with you.
Hello, and welcome to the Tech and Church podcast, where we talk to everyday church communicators who use simple tech tools to go from frazzled to focused. I'm your host, Jeanette Yates, and while my co-host, Nina Hampton, is out on maternity leave, we still both believe that you should be spending less time worrying about technology and more time doing what you love in your ministry and in your personal life. And in today's special edition of the podcast, I'm joined by Randalin Ward, Member Support Manager at Tech and Church, and she is a genius problem solver and innovator. Welcome, Randalin.
Thank you. What a marvelous introduction. Thanks so much.
Well, I was gonna mention how you're such a great problem solver because we were in that escape room-ish type of thing when I was up there with you a couple weeks ago. But I am still recovering from the bruise I have on my leg. So I was like, well,
same here.
But no, I mentioned it anyway. Oh, well, but you did a great job there too. So not only for work do you problem solve and innovate, but also when we're dealing with escape rooms and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
When we're hanging out. All right, Randalin, you and I today are going to discuss your favorite tech tools because you have quite the tech stack that you use to get through your job day in, day out. We all kind of have our own, we have tools that we use collaboratively, but then we all kind of have our own tech going on. But I want you to share a little bit about that. And then we're going to talk about everyone's favorite buzzword these days in the communication space, AI. We're going to talk about how us humans can use AI to build, to help us build genuine connections. So that's what I'm really excited about today. Our goal today, for those of you watching and listening, is to help you feel less frazzled and more focused when it comes to using new technology so that you can be confident in your church communications. Randalin, how's it going?
It goes so well.
It goes
so well.
All right. So let's go ahead and dive in. Like I mentioned, we all use a lot of tech for our jobs. We are a tech company.
Yep.
And so I would love for you to just share. We've done this type of episode before where we share our favorite tech tools as tech and church team members. So I would love to hear what are some of the tools that you use day in and day out for your job?
Yeah. Big number one is Palm Focus. So the Pomodoro technique for time blocking. If I can set a little timer for 25 minutes and focus in on work, I'm less likely to get distracted. And then it also reminds me to take a quick little 5-minute brain or body break because you got to keep that balance, especially working from home some days. It's hard to tear myself away from work and kind of take care of myself. So Palm Focus is a big one that I use daily.
Evernote. For those of you who don't know what that is, she's talking about the Pomodoro method, which you probably have heard, but we'll put a link in the show notes to the specific app that you use because you showed it to us one day and we were all like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Tell them just the fun fact about the Pomodoro method, about how it was named.
So Pomodoro in Italian is tomato, and it comes from the guy who innovated this. He was setting a kitchen timer, which was the little tomato timer that was in his kitchen, and was setting it for 25 minutes and working and then taking a break. So everything's in that red tomato theme, or there's dark mode if you're into dark mode like I am, everything.
I love that because everybody knows what you're talking about when you say that red timer, that red tomato timer. Like your grandmother had it. Somebody had one of those at some point in your life. So that's really good. Okay, go on. What other tech do you use during your day?
Yeah, I use Evernote a lot. The big thing I do with Evernote is I have this note that I call this notebook in there called Idea Parking Lot. And in the middle of the day, if I have a random thought about work, life, my hobbies, anything, but it's not related to what I'm actively working on, I pull up Evernote on my phone or my laptop, type it into the idea parking lot, and then once a week, I go through and I check off things that, oh, I already did that. Or I schedule things that I'm like, oh, I do need to get that done. I have time to make that happen. Or I archive it if it's like a really silly idea of like, that's not going to work or that's not relevant anymore. I just discard it. But yeah, my to-do list in my idea parking lot is 100 plus tasks. So
Wow.
combined with that like weekly check-in review, keeping my goals there too, and then palm focus, I can crush out some of those ideas as I have them without getting distracted. Because
I love that idea because I am one of those people that gets fantastic ideas all the time. I
yeah,
mean, I think they're fantastic. And I'm very easily will squirrel slash rabbit hole if I'm not, I need to do
yeah,
something like that. So that is an excellent tip. And I know that a lot of people that work in the communication space, work in churches, we do have a lot of ideas. We do have a lot going on. And so having somewhere that you can just drop that
yeah,
information and then it's there for later, you can stay focused, because that's really the hard thing, especially for those of us in church communications that work in social, or we are responsible for the text in church
yeah.
inbox, right, or whatever. We're always getting notifications and reminders, and that can easily distract us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great to have a way to set up parameters and guidelines so that you can focus. And so I love that's idea. Any other that you want to share before we go to the next thing?
Yeah, there's a tool called Loom, and our team uses this, but we use it a lot for internal communications too, not just communicating with our members when we walk them through how to do something. And what's really great about this is if I have to teach someone how to do something, I'll record a Loom about it instead of trying to schedule a meeting, because then we don't have to both have the same availability. I might be working in one time zone. I can help my team member in another time zone get on the same page about a new process. But then also, what's great about Loom is they have these transcripts, and you can just copy that transcript and then throw it into a Google Doc and build out your documentation so that you can share it with other team members as you bring on new volunteers or that kind of thing. I think Loom is super, super handy. I think I'm a visual learner.
Yes.
I want to see it happen, but I also want to read the instructions.
Yes.
If I'm putting together IKEA furniture, I have the
Oh,
book.
please.
I'm
Yes.
confused, but I'm going to follow it step by step.
Another thing that I really like about Loom is, and I mean, if you're doing a Zoom call, if you remember to hit record, it records, but I hardly ever do that. And so I love that if you're recording something in Loom, it's actually recorded. So once you've taught that to, let's say you teach me something, then the next person that needs it, you're like, oh, here, you can just watch this Loom that I've already done. You don't necessarily have to do it again. So I do really like that. I also love that our team does have the AI uh, meeting recordings that we do now. So there's the Fathom note taker, and there's a couple
Yes.
other ones that people on our team use. That's really helpful too. Because I would schedule
Yeah.
meetings with our members, and we would have like the masterminds and the big things. And I would be like, you can
Mm-hmm.
get the recording if you can't make it. And then I'd be halfway through and be like, oh, I forgot to hit record. So our bosses
Yes.
at Text and Church were like, okay, Jeanette, we're going to just set this up so it records automatically.
Automation. Yes.
Yes.
Automation. Save me some brain power. Yes.
Yes. So speaking of automation and doing things, getting a little bit of help and assistance with technology, I did mention in the intro that AI is a big buzzword. I mean, we are hearing it in all the spaces. Church communication. I mean, there's a group for AI for church communication. I mean, church communications, businesses all over the place. Commercials are using it, all the things. How are you utilizing AI as part of your work life, your work day?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm using it pretty frequently. Before this, I was actually using it. One of the big ways I use it is for data, actually.
Yes.
So if I have a big spreadsheet of data, I'll ask ChatGPT my question of I want to understand how many members are being affected by X, Y, and Z. And I have this in a table, and it'll teach me different Google, Excel formulas that I can use to get the data or the report that I need. Sometimes I use SQL data queries, and it's taught. I've actually learned a lot through asking ChatGPT, an AI tool. How do I find a list of people or processes? So it's been really helpful in that. I also use it to revise articles that I may have written. So I have a template of how the article should be set up and laid out, and the tone of voice it should use, and the formatting kind of details. And then I can record a Loom of me doing the process, take that transcript, put it in ChatGPT, ask it to turn this transcript to match my template, and then once I take that document, revise it further from there. But it saves me so much time in the drafting stage.
Yes.
It's been really, really helpful.
What I love about the examples that you're sharing is, well, first of all, the first example is really interesting to me because, of course, I'm a words person, not a numbers person, not a spreadsheet person.
Same
Okay.
here.
And so when I think of using ChatGPT, I think of it more like you were talking about the second way where it's like revising or helping you come up with, some ideas or something. But that first way,
Mm-hmm.
you can, now you don't want to rely on ChatGPT to give you data because it's going to just make up some stuff
No,
probably.
it'll probably be
But that's
wrong.
not what she's talking about, y'all. She's talking about saying, I need to know the formula to plug into the Excel spreadsheet to give me what I want or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that it can give you the correct information on that. And so I think
Yeah.
that's a way that I don't often think about using ChatGPT, which I probably should since I'm not like
Mm-hmm.
if the formula isn't like sum equals blah 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 to blah blah blah, like I don't
Oh
know.
yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know it. Yeah, yeah. I've got a little document saved of all the little formulas I've learned, not only from ChatGPT, but Jack, our chief marketing officer. He knows quite a few Excel,
Yes.
Google Sheets
I'm writing
wisdom.
his name down. I'm going to ask him to
But
be on the
and
podcast. He needs to be on here too. He could blow our
yes,
minds.
definitely. Can I come
And I
too?
also love, of course, the second thing I love about what you said and what I tend to use, ChatGPT specifically, but there's also Jasper is a good one too, but is the
Mm-hmm.
revising and refining, or maybe,
Yes.
I need, this is our, I need something consolidated or something like that. But what I love about that
Yeah.
is you're not using AI to replace you. You're
No.
still writing something, you're still doing the training, you're still recording the Loom, you're doing all that.
Mm-hmm.
That's you. That's the human Randlin. And then you're just
Yeah.
asking ChatGPT to like turn this into a blog post or turn this into a bullet
Yeah.
points or, or whatever, or take this blog post that I've already written and make sure it follows our brand guidelines and things like that, which is really
Mm-hmm.
important. And so I think
Yeah.
that's a lesson that we can all learn when thinking about using AI tools is like, I mean, yes, you could use it in like there are people out there using it in all kinds of weird ways. That's not what,
Yeah.
it is. It just like any tool, it can be
Mm-hmm.
used in ways that can help you and help you further your mission, your purpose, your goals, or it can be
Absolutely.
used to just, make a mess, right?
Make
Social media
junk.
is that
Yeah.
way, all those things. All
Yeah.
right. So, okay, now I want to kind of go into you work with our members all the time as part of as the manager of the member support team. So you are interacting with our members a lot. And so I want you, for those people, so a lot of people listening, they are our text and church members. We have people that aren't anyway. And one of our core values that we talk about often on the text and church team is that we prioritize people, but we also love technology. So AI, we want to use that to be more efficient, but also AI to a lot of people is like, well, how can we prioritize people and also use AI? Can you talk a little bit about how our team decides when to use AI and how to use it so that we can still help our people feel that known, noticed, and loved that is part of our values?
Absolutely. So, one of the big things that we keep in mind when we're making decisions about any technology, but specifically around AI, is technology, AI can't replace what our team is doing. It can only supplement what we're doing. The goal of any tool that we utilize is how can this help free up time so that I can take more Zoom meetings with members so that I don't have to be in a meeting on training. I can record a 15-minute Loom and then I have an extra hour block available to meet one-on-one with members or do group trainings. We want to free up our time so that we can actually build that connection with you. And then also, to be 100% transparent, we can't 24/7 staff.
Yes.
So if you're burning the midnight oil and you've got a question,
Which a lot of church communicators are.
yeah, yeah, you're there at the midnight hour and you're trying to get something set up and you've got a question. We utilize AI, an AI chatbot that it's powered by our help center. So the articles that our team has taken the time and love and care to research and write to teach you how to do the thing, whatever it might be. This chatbot knows only that. It only knows text in church, talk in church, and you can ask it a question. And if it knows the answer, it'll bring you there. And if it doesn't, it'll say, sorry, you'll have to wait for the team, but they'll connect with you in the morning. So I think that's a really great thing is we prioritize not having, not replacing
Right.
anything that we're doing. We're just trying to efficiently so that we can spend more one-on-one time with members building relationships.
Well, yeah. And Finn also does the job of like, so they could go to the help center. I love our help center. I love that you can search in it, but sometimes you don't know the right word. Like you don't even know
Yeah.
what you need. You're just like, I need something. I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the help center, it doesn't give you the information you need. But Finn can, go through those things. So it helps save time for the person that's trying to find that answer.
Yeah.
And then of course, like I always tell everybody, like, sometimes you can ask Finn and it'll give you the answer. And then sometimes you're like, no, I would like to speak to a person on the
Mm-hmm.
team. And Finn's it's not offended because it's just a chatbot.
Exactly.
You can always just say, I'll wait for a team member or,
Yeah.
or,
Talk to the team
yep,
and
yep,
then your request comes right to our queue and we'll process through it and get those questions answered. Yeah, we never want to make our team inaccessible. We want to connect with you about your questions. And this Fin chatbot isn't designed to replace anyone on our team. We've actually hired 2 more people for our team. So we just want to supplement what we're doing with different AI tools and things so that we can serve as many members as possible in the ways that they want to be served. So if you need answers in the middle of the night, Finn's there for you. And if you need answers at 9 a.m. Central, Monday through Friday, we got your back too.
yep, that's right. Yeah, I love that. All the different ways that the member experience team does use technology, because not only can you just talk to them through the chat thing inside, the chat feature, which, you are actually chatting back and forth with members, but they can also get a Loom video from you. They can
Yeah.
also set up a Zoom call with you, things like that. And so we do try to, and of course, I love it when our members come to the live trainings on Thursdays. We have a blast. One of our members today was like, Jeanette, you promised confetti. And so I've got to remember to get confetti for next week. So we have fun over there too. So we are building relationships with our members and we do love getting together. But AI is like you said, not a replacement, but just something that we use and something that churches can use too. Again, like to her point, she said, the AI tools or any tech tool is not meant to replace, whether it's AI or not, is not meant to replace you as a church leader, right? It's not meant to replace any of us as humans. That's one of the things that we talk about with texting all the time too, is texting is not in and of itself the quote answer. What is really going to bring people back to your church or keep people connected is the connections you make. And texting is one of the best ways to connect with people, which is why it works. But yeah, so I love that that is the focus. Now, I do want to, let's talk a little bit more about all kinds of tech tools, like the technology, especially since the event of of this generative AI, all of these chat GPTs and things
Mm-hmm.
like that, tech seems to be like if coming out new technology more rapidly than even
Yeah.
it has been. So it's already pretty fast, but now it
Yeah.
seems to be um, things are iterating and changing quite often. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if you have any advice as a tech um, um, I don't want to say guru. What's the word? You're an expert. You're an expert in technology.
Thanks.
I was like, that's not the expert. That's the right word. Uh, as a tech expert, what would you say to churches? They are every time they open their email or open up anything or hang out in their city, they're hearing about a new technology that's out there. How can churches decide what to lean into, what to learn more about, and what to say, no, that's not for us? How can they kind of either lean in or let go?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the best thing you can do is keep your priorities in line. And your priorities are usually centered around people. So, some sort of people outcome of we want to engage more volunteers this year. That's a people oriented goal, not a tech tool. So, you keep your people, your goals for the year, the quarter, however you want to roll with it, the month, aligned on people, and then find tools that will supplement whatever goal you're trying to achieve. So, um, and and you don't have to do something just because everyone else is doing it. And you definitely shouldn't do something just because, oh, well, the church across the street is doing XYZ. We need to do that too. It's like, well, does that really fit with our people? Is that how they currently want to communicate with us? So think about the people that are actually in your community, the people that you want to engage with, that you're trying to reach. Where are they? What tools can I use to engage with them? So if you keep your priorities on people, then look at the tools that will supplement that goal. And yeah, that's huge book I finished up this past quarter was People Before Things, and it's mainly written for like technology officers, like big corporations, and how they make those decisions. That's one of the things that successful people in technology leaders, how they make decisions is they prioritize the people that they're trying to serve, the people that they're trying to work for, rather than the things, the processes, the tools, the technology. And so if you center back around people, you'll know when to lean in and when to let
Right.
go if something isn't serving you.
Well, and something that we've learned before, one of our Engage speakers, our Engage conference speakers several years ago, Michael Hyatt, he talked about the experimental mindset. And I think that's something that we also have to remember too, is you can try
Definitely.
something for a set amount of time. You can say like, we are going to try this for this quarter. And if it doesn't work, if it doesn't help us engage more volunteers, if it doesn't help us become more connected with our members or whatever that priority is that you have set, then you can get rid of it. It's okay. So having that experimental
Yeah.
mindset and trying new things, once once you've gone through the first like prioritization, like, does this help us, with our priorities? Then you can say, okay, but there's all these, there's still a lot to learn. It's okay. I think it's okay to try something, have an experimental mindset,
Hmm.
and know that you can't, and then a growth mindset to know that you can learn new things. I think a lot of times too, we feel like I
Absolutely.
cannot. I even admit I have said that recently. Like, I don't know if I can learn another social media channel. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But the truth is, yes, I can.
Yeah.
If it's
What's
what is
the
needed to meet our goals of prioritizing people, right? And making
definitely.
impact. So anyway, I feel your pain.
Yeah, I had an extra thought. I always believe that like technology can smell fear. So
Oh,
like
yes.
like if you go in afraid, you're not going to be as confident in the decisions you're making. So I keep this Winnie the Pooh quote tucked away. The You're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think. And just keep that on repeat. And I think with your goals, with the empowerment of like, no, like this may be hard, but I'm smart. I can do this. I can figure this out. And also the mindset that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to overturn everything in once. When you renovate a house, you don't just take down everything and then put up everything all at once. It happens gradually, it happens incrementally. So set yourself up for success and make small little changes. You don't have to totally overhaul everything, or that's going to feel really overwhelming and stressful.
Right. And of course, if text in church or talk in church is what you're trying to learn, we've got a whole team to help you learn it as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
So you don't have to do it alone.
Never,
All
never
right.
alone.
So we have two more questions for you today. One of the things, and we may have already kind of touched base on this, but I just want to ask this one more time, just in case there's anything else you can think of. If a church leader is listening, they're like, okay, I think I'm ready. But I'm still not sure. Technology is still something that makes them nervous. What
Mhm.
encouragement, do you have any extra encouragement or any encouragement for church leaders as they think about communications or technology?
Yeah, I think about when you're checking out a new technology and you're deciding if you want to go with it or not, look at their support offerings. If you learn best in a group training or one-on-one with someone coaching you directly, make sure that tool has that for you. Don't try to, you know, go with a tool that provides you, a one-page checklist
Right.
and no other
And
resources.
IKEA like
Yeah.
pictures and put it.
Yeah, unless you love puzzles like that and you're like
Yes.
me, yeah, otherwise avoid that. So understand the ways that you learn best, and when you're looking for tools, a great company, a great technology is going to have a, a multitude of learning opportunities, whether it's recorded videos, whether it's one-on-one calls, a support line, a chat line. They're going to have options for you to find exactly the kind of training that you need. And, they're going to have real people who you can connect with. So I always don't be afraid to reach out to the maker of the tool and also the communities that are around that tool. So if you're looking at different church com tools, find the Facebook communities, ask the questions. There are no bad questions. Likely somebody has already gone through what you're trying to understand or learn and can say, actually, we did this and it was so super easy. And I'd love to talk with you about it. So, and if you are on the other side of this and you have the knowledge, you've done that, and you're in those communities, engage back, share that knowledge, and encourage others, because that's how we grow. That's how we make bigger impact than just what's happening in our own communities. It's a bigger picture.
I love that encouragement. You know that I do because I spend a lot of time in our
I know you
community
do.
on Facebook. And so I'm like, did she say that just for me, y'all? But we do, I really think that is the key to learning anything is yes, there's the people that, work as part of the support teams,
Sure.
you and I are both part of
Yeah.
that for the company, but it's the members, it's the other people using the tool that are going to share those stories that really matter, which is why we do this podcast, really, is to get
Absolutely.
those members talking, sharing on the mic how they're using the tech tools they use and how they're making a difference in their ministry, because that's the bottom line is
Yeah.
all of the tech tools are, to support and further your mission and your purpose. It's
Exactly.
funny that you mentioned like check out what the learning offerings are because I was because I was thinking about I had an issue with Google, and Google, of course, is the most ginormous company, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I want you to know, they called me on my phone and walked me through what I needed to do. Now
That's
that is
wonderful.
some service, right?
Yeah.
I was like, and also that shows you how bad I am that all the other ways of they
Oh,
were trying to
no.
teach me how to do this, they were like,
Yeah.
fine, we'll just call you from, halfway across the world, but
Wow.
it worked. And I learned how to do the thing. But that's the way I learn, is somebody walking me,
Mm-hmm.
step by step. So anyway,
Yeah.
that is so true, that, that to find the best way that, know how you learn best and find ways to do that. And then, of course, I was listening to a podcast today that was talking about why stories are so important. And so you were
Mm-hmm.
talking about going into the community and like reading how other people are using a tool. And that is because our brain thinks in images. So
Oh,
like
yeah.
if you say, I think the person was saying, if I say big red balloon, what you're thinking about in your head is a big red balloon, not
Mm-hmm.
BIGREDBALLOON, right? You don't spell it out. You
Yeah.
think of a big red balloon. And so I
Yeah.
think when we hear stories about how a tech tool or how several tech tools work together to bring a community together, serve a community in a time of need, and, support the mission field, things like that. I think that
Mm-hmm.
gives us the picture in our head of what might be possible with our community as
Absolutely.
well. Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
We could go on forever,
We could.
and keep talking tech tools, but
No, I
it is
definitely
time to wrap it up.
could.
And I want you to, I know that you need to get back to your work and your tech. So I will let you go. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we hop off today?
Just a bit of encouragement to all the church leaders out there. Don't forget to take care of yourself too. You're important. Self care is important. And I know many of y'all wear many hats, maybe all of the hats.
Yeah,
So don't forget that one of those hats is also yourself. And thank you for what you do. What you do matters for your church, your community, kingdom. Thank you. Thank you. And reach out if
amen.
you have questions about text in church, talk in
That's
church.
right.
My team, we got you. We got you.
That's right. Thank you so much, Randalin. And thank you for watching and listening. That's a wrap on today's show. And we would love to hear from you. Like Randalin said, head to the comments to this video to share your tips or ask questions. We will be sure to engage with you. And if you want to learn more about how to use tech tools in your church communications so that you can spend less time worrying about technology and more time actually doing what you love in your ministry and in your personal life, make sure to subscribe wherever you're listening or watching this episode so you won't miss our future episodes. Thanks a lot.